tonight, I want to come to Just a Conversation. In the midst of the night, you have none other than Minister Amon, Brother Matthew, and Minister Hayden. Don't forget to hop on over to our YouTube page. It's Just a Conversation. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, when you're coming in, don't forget to share this program out. Man, it's been an awesome week, awesome day. Man, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Man. Excuse me?
You look clean now on camera. What you were saying?
That's every week, bro. I mean, where you been? I wonder if you're in the same building with us, bro. But yeah, I mean, it's coming up towards Christmas. It's coming up towards the end of a year. Man. So a lot of people gonna make some New Year's resolutions. I hope they stick to it. Matthew, what's your New Year's resolution?
I don't believe in that.
Really?
Yeah.
What you believe in?
I believe in Jesus. He is my savior. He came to bless y'all. Amen.
Amen. Wow.
Amen, brother.
Amen. I'm with you on that one. I believe in Jesus too.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, man. It's just a lot of stuff going through my head right now. And you know, one of the things we're going to talk about tonight is I know in Paul, you know, which is a great writer, you know, he said, listen, he was praying to God. You know, he prayed to God 3 times, and he said, Lord, can you please take this thorn away from my flesh? And the Lord is like, listen, man, I hear you. I understand what you're saying, Paul, but guess what? My grace is sufficient for you. And you know, it's just a clip that was going around, you know, that I got. Actually, someone sent it to me, and then you know, I put it out, you know, to you guys so you guys could have seen it. And I thought I was watching a movie for a second. You know, I wanted it to be like, yo, something ain't right here. You know, I was getting like nervous, like what's going on? Is this like really happening? Like, is this really true? Is this really?
It kind of reminded me of that Rapture movie. Like, oh, this person screwed up, and then like a few days later, you see the ones who were called up, and then the ones who stayed back. Like, oh man.
The part that got me that movie is when the girl was hugging her brother. And he just like disappeared. That's crazy right there. So yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So
but
it's like the person just got tested, and it's like all the years of good that I've done, but it's wrong. I'm staying here. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That was sad, bro.
You think so?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was sad, man. She was just holding her little brother, hugging him.
Yeah.
That was like I don't.
But that's like to me, that's like giving like a realistic
of what's
feel
gonna
of what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, like the pilot's flying the plane and the pilot's gone. You know.
No, but it's sad, bro. Think about it. If you hug someone, that's like an act of affection, right?
Mm-hmm.
So during an act of affection,
he's gone.
He's going, and you're there.
Yeah.
That's sad, bro. That lets you know that our righteousness really is like filthy rags. Like what we think that we get props for and what we think that we doing good for, God might look at us like that's not righting no wrongs that you've done in the past. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or how you feel to certain people.
Yeah, it's wrong, but it's like my sense of humor is kind of weird. So
I'm not saying your sense of humor is wrong. I'm just saying, in the way I looked at it, it was sad. You could hug your brother and have affection for your brother, but you could hate someone else's guts. And because of that, you not going to heaven. That's what I'm saying. That's sad.
That's sad.
That's interesting.
But it's just factual if you think about it. You know, because
it is.
You know, like say for instance, the rapture come, we all could be sitting here and we don't know. You know, somebody just like that, they're gone, and you just see their clothes left behind.
God's grace is sufficient. Oh my goodness,
God's grace is sufficient. You know, but man, that clip though, it kind of like touched me in a way, like, you know, where I'm just looking at like you know, even us as ministers, you know, as people that hold a position in the church, you know, we have to, you know, check our emotions. We have to check and like, you
all
know,
the time.
Check ourselves.
Yeah, all the
time. You know, because like after seeing this clip, it kind of like we're like, I mean, I've been like woke up, my eyes been open, you know, for a minute now, but it just like makes you want to, you know, like the song says, search me, O Lord, and know my thoughts, I pray. You know, and you just want the Lord to search you and be like, yo, what's going on here? What's the deal here? You know, because sometimes you just don't understand, like, why do people act the way they act? You know, if you say that, you know, you're a man of God or you're a woman of God, or if you say that, listen, like, you know, I'm a new creature. You know, if you have the Holy Spirit inside of you, then guess what? Everything about us should be new. You know, we should understand when Paul was saying, listen, you have to die daily. What that mean? We have to die to a lot of stuff. We have to die to a lot of things. And part of it that we have to die to as a leader is your emotions, bro. Like your emotions can get you some serious trouble and make you say stuff you're not supposed to say, make you act some ways that you're not supposed to act. And, you know, it's just a sad situation. You know, I remember a while back I was watching a thing on Facebook where the bishop was over a church and he like went to the church dressed like pretty much like a bum. Like a homeless person. Just to see how his church would welcome someone like that. And it's a shame that he had to go to that level, you know, just to see where his church is at or how his church is functioning. You know,
think it's a shame. I think it's necessary.
Why would that be necessary?
If you're preaching this doctrine and it's like you're teaching, you want to make sure that they're actually living that lifestyle.
I understand that.
So it's like sometimes you have
to do a test like that?
Yeah, test them. It's like, are you really for Christ or are you just there for show? Why you think we go through the situation that we do now? It's like, guys testing us like, oh, all right. You say you for me, it's like, prove it.
That's true. I mean, I agree with that, you know, to an extent, but I don't believe like, you know, if you are a changed person, if you're a man of God, you know, if you have your church set to a certain standard, I don't think that standard should fall regardless. And when you put people in order or put people in charge of a certain area, they should have that spirit of you. Just like with Moses, you know, the Lord is like, listen, find you 70 men, and I'm gonna put your spirit in them. You know, so if the pastor, you know, or the leader of that ministry, you know, is pretty much have a good spirit and they have a decent spirit, or, you know, a godly spirit. You know, I said decent spirit. But if you have a godly spirit, then you shouldn't have to, you know, have tests like that or do anything like that. You know, but I do understand what you're saying. Like sometimes you have to like, you know, do stuff like that to understand like where people stand or to see where they really, you know, where they really are. You know, do they really believe in the whole death, burial, and resurrection? You know, so I understand what you're saying at that point, but
I mean, but if you look at it, like the Lord could have been showing like Moses, like how he's really leading the people,
right?
And how the people is really, you know, following after Moses, which where Moses was given a command, and the reason why, like Brother Matthew was saying earlier, the reason why he couldn't enter into the promised land is because he didn't obey the command of God, and God had to show him, you know, you kind of like really messed up when I gave you an open command in front of everybody, and you didn't listen to the command in front of everybody, and now they regard you as a God, like you could just do things on your own now, and I can't allow you to keep on going on this way. I can't allow you to go any further.
Wow, that's true. But yeah, I mean, it's a clip, you know, that we have, and you know, we're gonna let you hear it. You know, we're gonna let you hear the whole process. We're going to let you hear from start to beginning. I mean, from beginning to ending. So, yeah, go ahead.
Only one person. What? Hey, sit down. Sit down. What are you coming up here to do? You want to come take over the service? Huh? What do you want? What? I just want to pray. Get out of here. Can I get a little grace? No, you can't. No, you get out of here. Get him out of here. Drag this bozo out. Pull him out. Hey, help him out. Get him out. And you know what? Anybody wants to come up here and take over the service? We'll throw you out of here, buddy. This church is not a free-for-all. This isn't an open mic. This isn't a karaoke bar. Okay? I'm the man of God here. I meet the qualifications. I run this church. And if you don't like it, then get out. And I don't care if 90% of people get up and walk out or 50% of people walk out. I don't care. Who agrees with me that we don't want these people in our church? We want them gone. Gone. Get them out. Not 3 persons.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, just even hearing it, just like
you're the man of God,
just
right?
cringe my spirit. You know, it just make me just like, you know, the thing that, all right, let's start from start to beginning. So, you know, it's just like if anything in the service is going on, just to paint a picture, you know, the pastor's up there ministering, someone got up, you know, because they just want to pray. you know, and they're walking up there, and the pastor's like, "Listen, where are you going? Like,
this is my church.
This is my church. You know, sit down." And the dude is like, "Can I have some grace?"
Yeah.
But what are we living by, bro? It's His grace and His mercy. You know, it's really because His grace and His mercy while we're here.
He just said it himself. It's His church.
But it's not His church. It's God's church.
He's saying that they live in because of they in His church.
But to me, that's when your emotions get the best of you. When you act that kind of way. When you say stuff like that, or you know, imagine if God, you know, just oh my God, bro. It just baffles my mind. Like somebody could just really in front of your congregation, and not only that, that goes to show you that the spirit of Him is all over the congregation.
Yeah.
Because when He said, "How many people agree with me?"
Yeah.
You know that we don't want people like this in our church. Raise your hand. And 80% of the church raised their hand.
Well, do you think they were kind of intimidated in doing so?
No, intimidated by who?
With that voice?
Come on, bro.
Yeah, because my point being is if the whole direction of the church is going one way and you don't go that direction of the church, what do you think happens to you next?
You get put out too?
Okay.
Well, I mean, He said it. If you don't agree with Him, then just get up and walk out. He said you can leave.
Yeah.
He did say that.
So doesn't that kind of put a little bit of pressure on you?
No.
You leave.
Say for instance, I'm just saying, say for instance, you've been a part of that congregation, you've been friends.
So you're trying to say you become subtle with it. You become one with the whole vibe and everything.
You might it's
like being in a toxic relationship.
You might become almost like you might almost become, how do I want to say, your loyalty might be on the line if you don't agree with everyone else. It's almost like peer pressure.
Well, don't you think He gave them an ultimatum when He said, if you don't agree, just get up and walk out?
I feel like...
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
A lot of people not going to agree with me with this. But as a man, if you see that 9 times out of 10,
I don't really think that's
going to walk out.
To me, it's just like, being in the world, you know, when you're a world person and, you know, when you're looking at church, you're looking at the church to be somewhere where you could go for, like, you know, if you need a doctor, you go there for the hospital, for people to pray for you, you know, to get you out of some situation that you're in. It's supposed to be like a comforting place for you to go. So when you have somebody like that, you know, that's where like people are seeing these kind of things, because these stuff go viral and it goes viral real quick. Yeah. But the thing about it is that people are not showing like the churches that's actually functioning in the right way. But as soon as the negative thing comes around, they're quick to show that and put that out there, you know, and then everyone grabs a hold of this. And before you quit, man, this thing has like 5-point-something million views.
But here's the thing. Most church, regardless of it being in church, the thing that people gravitate to is always going to be
negative. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, but regardless whether we feel it's negative or positive, I just appreciate seeing the facts. Like that's what cameras are for. Yeah. Like Rodney King existed before Rodney King. Yeah. But it took us cameras to see it. And this is the thing. I'm not going there's good and there's bad that happens in churches. The good is showing, I believe good is showing too. Mm-hmm. And I believe, you know what I'm saying, bad is showing. But the thing about it is as long as I see the truth, I'm okay with that. Whether it's good or bad. As long as I see what's going on, I'm okay with that.
All right, so with this whole video, how you felt about it?
I honestly, I feel like, you know, it could have been handled different ways. I feel like, you know, certain spirits did come up and certain spirits were evoked. Mm-hmm. What just what's in my head was, and this is my like almost lasting impression of it. Like, be careful to entertain strangers because you never know. It could be angels on the way. Angel. So that man could have been Jesus. Jesus could have been in that man.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the concerning part on me.
But you know something, I don't mean to cut you. You know something that really got me is like, even though like the pastor was so aggressive and so full of anger, you know, and he had all this coming out, the man was still humble. You know, he's like, listen, I just want to pray.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, and then even with all of that, he was like, even though he said he just want to pray, and the pastor was like, no, man, get out of here. He's like, listen, just can I get some grace? He was still humble. Yeah. So you don't know like what you were facing. You don't know who you was facing right there. You're right. Be careful how you entertain strangers, because many of us have entertained angels unaware. And that could have definitely been an angel.
Yeah.
Because he was so humble. He didn't retaliate. He didn't, argue back, fight back. He didn't do nothing. He didn't say nothing. He just sat there. He just said, you know what?
Yeah. I'm
going to be humble. I'm going to chill. And I'm just going to boom, just, okay, you want me to leave? I'm going to leave. But the other part that I didn't like is like, you can hear people like scruffling and they're like, no, let him walk out of there. So it's like pretty much they're forcing him out of there.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, like, believe it or not, like, if I go to ministry and you put your hands on me, we're going to have some serious issues. Because I didn't touch, first of all, he didn't touch anybody. All he was trying to do is go, what's the altar is there for? The altar is there for people to go and pray.
Yeah.
That's definitely what the altar is there for. So if somebody wants to get up, I've seen people all the time get up, the conviction of God hit them. If you're preaching a message and somebody gets up to go pray, that means they're being convicted. Something about your message has hit them and they want to go pray. So what's wrong with that? Somebody want to go to the altar and pray. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
I just say we just have to be very careful about how we discern the contents of what happens, because I done seen some people get up there and hit their knees, and I don't know who they praying to. Honestly, man, I done seen some people get up there, and I don't know what spirit they functioning in, and I done seen a whole bunch of discord going forth, and I seen a whole bunch of things like the man says, "What are you trying to come up here and take over the service?" Like he could have been discerning that as a demon or some kind of entity.
I'm not trying to cut you off, but if y'all don't realize it, the altar is both a place of safety, but it's also a battleground. So it's like
it's also what?
It's a battleground. Because
okay.
It's like you deal with everything there.
It's true. What you're saying is very true. What you're saying is very true.
But here's a lovely thing, right?
Yes, folks, and while you're enjoying this podcast, I want to let you know that this podcast is brought to you today by none other than Ricketts Technology. They're a website design company, and right now they also do mobile applications. And yes, they build for free, normally a $5,000 value. Why you mentioned this podcast today, which is just a conversation, the value is free, no charge for the initial development of your mobile application, and the offer is valued on a minimum 24-month subscription only. You can schedule a consultation at 954-534-1292. That's 954-534-1292. And if you're in the Jamaican area, it's 876-449-1102. That's 876-449-1102. Or you could go on request at rickettstech.com or www.rickettstech.com. So yeah, while you're enjoying this program, don't forget that this podcast is brought to you by Ricketts Technology. And don't forget, while you're on here, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share this program out. Bless someone, teach someone, help someone.
Just come light up the room.
He's like, nah, this time I'm coming with my
like $1 million.
Oh my, I ain't gonna call it entourage. It's my
my prayer warrior.
Yes, exactly. Oh God, I don't know about all that, but
the better part. I mean, you're outnumbered. You're outnumbered right now, so you want to calm down with that one.
She's standing in the pain. Standing in the pain. You go hard in the pain.
Everybody here married, right? Yeah. So yeah.
No. Let's get that right.
This guy right here, near married.
God understands my heart, so it's like,
and He gives you grace.
He gave me grace,
that's
and more grace. I asked for grace upon patience, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, for those who are tuning in, it's just it's a clip that we got somebody sent to me, and we're actually talking about that tonight. Is where someone was walked into the ministry, and they could have been sitting in there for a while. The pastor was ministering, and they walked up, and they're trying to the pastor's like, "What do you want? What are you doing?" And he's like, "Listen, I just want to pray." And then he's like, "No, get this guy out of here." And the guy's like, "Can I get some grace?" And when you think about grace, grace is it's just love, bro. When you think about grace, when somebody have grace, somebody, especially when you think about say for instance, me and Minister Amon is at war, and I have all the tools, to take him out. And I say, you know what? I'm going to be gracious enough and to let him live. Yeah. That's pretty much what grace is.
Is it though?
Yeah. Mercy.
Grace, mercy.
So why do you think the pastor did that? Is he a troublemaker?
I just think he had a power ego, a power trip going on.
Yeah,
he was
you heard it in his
church.
voice, man.
You could hear his voice. He was just very what do you call it, vulgar. That's why they say in the islands, it's being very vulgar, you know. And he just, you know, the Bible says, "Woe be unto you, pastors that lead my sheep astray." You know, so he has a lot to account for, you know. At the
But
end
do you feel like a pastor should at any time be able to step in and take control of the congregation or maybe the service if something awry is going on? Like one time we had a woman just attack the pastor during the whole congregation. Yeah, it was a demon spirit, of course.
She wanted to go up there, but she never.
It was a demon spirit, of course.
Yeah, it was demon spirit.
And the way the apostle seen it was like Lucifer, his very self, coming for him. And he had to you know, address the situation. Now sometimes there are some situations where I've seen people in the service acting up, and I've seen the apostle choose not to address it right then and there.
Exactly, because everything has to be done in decency
and in order. Correct.
Exactly.
My thing is, how I look at it is, if you're not in your Bible, praying, keeping yourself steadfast, situation like this will affect you, because you're always fighting the you know, the man side of you, the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you aren't keeping yourself actively building up the word inside of you, situation like this, the self side of you will come out.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that's guy coming up there is you know, it's unprecedented. So it's like you either handled it with the word or you handle it with the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And he handled it with the flesh.
think about the guy that said, the guy in Jamaica, hold your position.
Yeah. Okay, but now with that being said, and I need you guys to understand this. With this being said, right?
Mm-hmm.
In any organization, do you just have a free right to the boss, to the don, to the CEO?
No.
So don't you think that there should have been protocol set in the middle of that pastor having to come down and handle it that way?
But I feel like
dealt with it with more tact.
But what I'm saying is, don't you think that there should have been protocol in the middle? Don't you think that maybe a deacon should have been there, a usher should have been there, maybe somebody else should have been there so that the preacher didn't have to come down like that?
Well,
yeah.
Well, he was already so close already. He was too close already. He was already
because
right
like
there.
even before the guy even came in the frame, you know, he was already saying, "What are you doing?" Like, I guess when the person got up and just started walking, he's like, "What are you doing?" So when did you give anybody time to even like address that?
I mean, that's in the Bible where you had a circle of men around Saul,
but he didn't.
And then you had Abner right next to Saul, and David snuck in with his man and took the cruse of water and the javelin. And when he took it and went across to the other side, he says, "Look, Abner, you should lose your life because you should have been right there defending the man." So the point being is, even though Saul was slipping, he still should have had somebody righteous, like holding his back. He still should have had
So you believe like
armor bearer.
If like say like armor bearers back in the days, like when you read about them in the Bible, there were the people that went at the beginning of the war.
That's your bodyguard.
They were the ones that was fighting.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's just like even like this morning, you know, Apostle said something in the prayer line. I said the same thing. Like, you should be like the last line of defense. You know, it's like you got so many people.
That's for real.
That's in like the circle right here that somebody could have reached out to, you know, before they even got to you. You know, so you are right when you say that. So, you know, when you go to like some churches and you see like men standing up there, you know, when the pastor is preaching, a lot of people might look at it like, oh, why are they doing this? Or why do you need a bodyguard? You should have a discerning spirit. But it's for situations like that.
You covering the apostle. Yeah. You covering.
What's his guy's name? Benny Hinn? Benny Hinn? Yeah. Yeah. When he came up by the airport, he had like a security team, and all these guys look like ex
Secret Service.
But anybody that's even when you watch the Potter's House, TD Jakes, he has guys standing all around, and they're all like security team or whatever you want to call them, really. But they're all standing right there, you know. And I mean, honestly, like people don't even understand like why. Like me personally, I don't even like. I used to sit in the front row and have my back to the door, and I stopped doing it ever since that the situation with that lady. You know, so now I sit up front where I can sit, like I look down and I can see what's going on. You know, because you see so much from up there. You know, when you have your back turned, you're not really seeing anything. You know, so you know, I do like agree with you. You know, when you say like somebody should have been there in the middle to intersect that. You know, but I just think like, you know, to me, just like he attacked it like real quick. you know, before the person even came in the frame, he started to like address the situation.
It's like so. Yeah, instead of waiting for the people who were supposed to handle the oh my goodness, I'm trying to blank.
Sacrifice.
The sacrifice. He did it himself.
He did it himself.
So it's like he didn't wait. Yeah. So it's the same thing with a guy. He didn't give his people opportunity to do what they're supposed to. But also, how I look at it, regardless, yes, there's protocol to the pastor, but to the altar, it's supposed to be free.
Okay, and honestly, the way I look at it, okay, at first when the man was walking up, he asked the question, "Are you trying to take over the service?" Okay, the man answered him and said, "I just want to pray. Exactly. I just want to pray." Okay, now if there was a problem with praying, the preacher could have said, "Okay, right now is not the time for the prayer. Not the time for the altar call.
That's the way he went at
If you need prayer, someone could go behind there and they could pray for you and assist you in the back room or somewhere or in the foyer or whatever they have, whatever." And this is what I mean. My point being is someone, a mother, an elder, someone could have noticed the man's need for prayer and noticed the congregation's need to hear the word still and says, "Come here, let me take you off to the back. I'll come pray for you if you need prayer." The pastor doesn't need to pray for everyone. The man doesn't need to pray at the altar. He could go and he could find prayer somewhere else. And this is what I say. This is what I mean, where if you're not prepared for situations where, first of all, the usher is supposed to see this first and foremost. If the usher don't see it, if it missed the usher, then some prayer warriors or some prophets need to see it too. Okay. Because they need to see the demonic attack that's going to come on the church. They need to see the enemy's strategy before it hits. And that's why honestly, that's why we're supposed to be armor bearers or prophets one step ahead of the battle. We're supposed to know, hey, you're going to need your javelin, you're going to need your shield, you're going to need your breastplate, you're going to need all this and have it ready for the pastor. Have it ready for the champion to go out there. And if we don't go out before and don't see this, then we are not worthy. We're doing something wrong. We're not prepared. So how is he going to be prepared? He's fighting for us.
But my thing is, he should be Christ-like.
Yeah, he should be.
Look back in the day when Christ was on earth.
Yeah.
Whenever anyone stepped to him for help, he never chased them away. No matter what he was doing, he stopped to help.
You're correct.
So if he came for prayer, he should have just, prayed for him. Then if he realized, okay, he's possessed and he stepped up the way he did, he should have prayed for him.
You're correct.
But I don't think that guy, me personally, I don't think the guy's possessed because he was calm.
He's not.
When somebody's possessed, you'll know. And they're not going to be calm about the situation. They'll even try to push through everything, just like the girl did. She tried to push through me and you to go to a bosom.
Yeah, but
you can tell that was a force coming right there. Yeah. So the man was humble about it. He just said, "Listen, I just want grace." Which demon you gonna think say I want grace?
No, honestly, what you're saying is correct. But once you find yourself in rebellion, even against the prophet that's there, if you can't subject your spirit to the prophet, and you're in rebellion is as a sin of.
Do you think that the prophet even gave him a chance to submit himself to him?
And this is the thing that I'm trying to say. If he knows that he's not supposed to just get up there and walk up there and the prophet just cuss him off, it's like, hey, wait a minute. That would be like, for instance, in the Bible, you have a story of Elisha and you got Naaman the leopard trying to come to his house and he cut him off. He said, hey, you ain't got to come over here. Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times.
Yeah, 7 times. Dip.
And he was mad. He was hot. Now he could have just rebelled into a sin of witchcraft, because rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft. He could have just rebelled and not listened to the prophet. But once you could subject yourself unto the spirit of the prophet, whether the prophet be a principality or the spirit be a principality or a power, if you can't subject yourself, even unto the devil, in the book of Jude, when Michael the archangel went to go get the body of Moses, he didn't bring any railing accusation against the devil himself.
Nope.
That's what we have to find ourselves, because we have to find ourselves with no blood on our hands.
Well, the devil stepped to him too.
At the end of the day, we have to find ourselves with no blood on our hands.
But I've seen situations, and I remember one of them that's really fresh in my mind is when a sister took the mic and she was just walking around the church, and then the pastor was like, let me get the mic, and she was fighting the pastor like, nah, I'm keeping the mic. That's a demon. That's being rebellious.
That's a demon.
You know what I mean? So if I'm walking up there clean as fresh, I'm like, man, you know what? I'm hearing this word. I just need to go to the altar and just pray to God. I mean, to me, the simplest thing was to be like, listen, okay, what's going on, man? Everything all right? hey, pastor, I just want to pray.
Exactly.
And then somebody just be like, listen, can somebody go pray with him? Simple as that.
Simple as that.
But to carry on the way that he carried on, he was in his what do you say? He was
flesh.
He was in his feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he acted way out of context.
He's a man of status and power, so that's why he acted that way.
Well, all I'm saying is, to me, we could sit here and say obviously this and obviously that, but I don't know. And this the point I'm trying to say is, if I can't bring forth any railing accusation.
How I look at it,
I can't say what the Holy Spirit was telling me.
Reason why
show us much where.
Reason why I know the pastor's in the wrong. Whenever you're in the wrong, you never just want to be. You don't want to be in the wrong by yourself. You're gonna always trying to bring others with you.
If you in the right, you want to be in the right by yourself.
If you're in the right, you don't have to defend yourself because you're in the right.
If I'm in the right,
because it will be shown in the day. But when you know you're in the wrong, you're gonna drag everybody down with you. Perfect example. This election. I mean, with the president, the situation right now. When you're in the wrong, you're bringing down everybody. So the reason why I know the pastor was in the wrong, he started incorporating his own members.
Me personally, I can't say I know the pastor was in the wrong. I can't say that. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I can't say that. I can let my yay be yay and my nay be nay.
I will be saying I'm assuming because it's like
Well, you just said I know. Now you said you're assuming. So
it's my opinion. My opinion on the situation.
That's what I'm saying.
Is that
I could go with what you're saying.
Based off what I've seen, when a person is in the wrong, they always want to bring somebody. They don't want to be in that hot seat by themselves.
But Matt, when someone is in the right, they want to bring somebody with them in the right too. Same difference is what you're saying, but nobody wants to be by themselves whether they're in the wrong or in the right. So what I'm trying to say is you could say your point, but you can't negate what I'm trying to say to you. So this is what I'm trying to say to you. You could say your point that you know he was in the wrong, but you can't negate the point that I'm trying to make to you. Because at the end of the day, you have a scripture that says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So I cannot accuse anybody without expecting accusation to come at me. Now, therefore, if it says the devil or Satan is the accuser of the brethren, then I don't accuse anybody, so I'm not Satan, I'm not the devil.
Okay.
Well, the pastor went on too much, so he elaborated too much, and he was calling out the other church members. He didn't deal with the situation like a man of God, in my opinion. I mean, he could have done better. You know what I mean? And we don't know if the guy was a habitual offender because you've had church here, and I've seen a couple people come through the doors, and you know they're kind of disruptive. But we keep it nice and classy, and we keep it going. But this guy, the pastor kind of went on too much. You know what I mean? It was too much. It was like anybody else in that want to go with him, and that was a little bit abrasive. He should the guy was already removed from the situation. Once the situation was diffused, just let it go and just carry on with service, like real classy. But he was too much. Hey, hands up! Anybody that want to be in here? What's this, an election? Why we run an election? There was one guy. You know what I mean? Come on, it wasn't that serious. You know, that's my opinion.
And then who knows if he was maybe driving his car listening to a scripture, because in 2 Corinthians it talks about, you know, Jesus saying, my grace is sufficient for you. What if he heard that and he was like, you know what, let me go to church and see if I can get some of that grace. So I just think the approach was totally off.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, I think it's a very thin line, and like sometimes the enemy comes so subtle, and sometimes when Jesus comes down, when the Holy Spirit comes down and sets that standard, he has to throw over some tables, and he has to uproot and uprate some things sometimes. You see what I'm saying? There were certain things that Jesus, he seen the subtlety of the people. He was like, okay, people come up to him and they're trying to condemn Jesus, the Son of God, and say, here goes a piece of coin. You know, do you give tribute to silver or to Caesar, or do you give tribute to, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And Jesus had to sit there and say, you know what? I'm going to answer this question to you so subtly that I'm not going to give you a yay or a nay, but I'm going to let you know what it is. And he pushed it back to him. Answer it yourself.
Let me ask one question. So you think the pastor acted right?
Do I think the pastor acted right? I honestly, for me, The reason I'm saying the way I'm not gonna sit there and say he acted wrong or he acted right, but according to how I feel, I probably would have acted in a different way. I'm not gonna sit there and say that the man did wrong or right. I'm not gonna accuse the man of anything. I can't. I'll go up there and accuse him of acting wrong, and then I go out in my brother's face and act wrong tomorrow. Or act wrong the next word out of my mouth after I accused him and say he acted wrong. That's what I'm saying. That's why Jesus.
So if one of your brothers acted like that, would you address it? Would you address them?
Yeah, I would address them, and I would try and address them according to the Holy Spirit. And I'm saying I would try. I'm not saying I will, or I'm not saying I won't. I'm saying I would try with what God has measured in me to do at that time. I can't do anything other than what it was. That's why I'm so very particular about the way I speak. Because I could sit here and say I'm gonna do the righteous thing. Blah. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm very particular about how I speak. I'm very particular about accusing someone. That's why I believe when Jesus says, if any one of us has or who didn't sin, cast the first stone. So how we gonna sit there and say that pastor acted wrong when we acted wrong a million times and we gonna act wrong a million more times after him? I can't sit there and say that he did wrong. I can't.
I'm not arguing that what he did was wrong. It's the way he did it. He could have dealt with the situation with a little bit more tact.
Yeah, I respect what you said.
And as a Christian,
I do respect that.
Sometimes we turn away angels unawares because we feel as if we've made it. You know what I mean? So I just felt like the way he dealt with it was not.
For me, there's a little bit more class. I've seen people come to the doors here. I don't see you rough them up or then take a vote. I see you deal with it like a Christian.
Some people get roughed up, bro. Some people got to get roughed up, man. It's some people that come in here and I be like, man, look, I told you time and time again, man, you got to move in decency and in order. Yeah. And this is from dealing with them on many occasions. And this is dealing with them and, I done gave you grace. Yeah, a couple of times, and you still coming back. Just because I'm giving you grace, you're gonna start abusing the grace now?
So do you think the guy in the video was a habitual offender? Or?
He could have been. That's why I can't say. Yeah. Obviously, the pastor, he was there, and he was like, so what are you coming to do? Take over the service? Now, maybe he wasn't talking to the man, but maybe he was talking to the spirit behind the man. 7 times spirits, legions of spirits. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's certain times that things came up to Jesus that weren't really men, but they were legions. You know what I'm saying? It was a reason Jesus was flipping over tables. It was reasons Jesus was taking out scourges and whipping through churches. It was reasons he was touching fig trees and cursing them.
Makes sense.
I can't sit there and say.
But you just ain't gonna pass judgment.
I tried not to. I'm not gonna sit there and say I
you never know when your day will come.
Exactly. I tried not to.
I understand. I agree with that.
I think that's the only position that we can stand on because our ways are not God's ways. We're like he says, the heavens is so far above the earth. So how I'm gonna sit here and look down from down here and judge upon something? Like we need them Judases, man. We need them Judases. Yep. We need them, but it's not for us to talk about them.
True.
It's for us to be like, you know what, Judas? I'm going to sit here and eat with you until the day I ain't going to eat with you. And that's it.
We said something earlier before we started recording about how are you going to be one of those who leave or are you going to be one of those who sit?
Well, the reason I asked that because when he says, if anyone agrees with me, put your hands up. And he was like, I don't care if 98 of y'all or 98% of y'all leave or 90% of y'all leave. And he was like, we don't want y'all here if y'all like that. So the point being is, then he just already set the tone. If you don't put your hands up, then you got to kick rocks. You got to get up out the congregation. You could have been going to that church for 1,000,000 years. The pastor could have helped you with your house, your car, your marriage. Do you walk away from all that in that one instant? Just because what you believe is you don't really totally agree with him? Do you walk away from all that in one instant? Or do you stay right there and stick your guns?
All right. I'll give you a perfect example in the Bible. God said to the rich man, give up all your worldly treasures and follow.
Your riches, give it to the poor.
Yeah, give it to the poor and follow me.
Yeah.
Are you going to do it?
What do you mean?
If God said, of course.
If God said,
you asking me, okay, now if we want to go into the contents of the story that you're talking about,
yeah,
he said, good master, which good means perfect.
okay.
And Jesus told him, okay, follow the commandments if you want to enter into heaven. That was the question. How do I enter into the kingdom of heaven?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, you know the commandments. And pretty much the commandments boil down to two. Love God with all your heart, all your body, all your soul, and then love your neighbor.
Like
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I've been following all the commandments since, I was young. So he says, okay. So he says, you're okay. You're on track. But if you want to be perfect, if you want to enter into, because you can only be perfect and enter into the kingdom. You can't enter and not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, give away everything you've been doing to the poor. Everything you've been doing, all the loving of God you've been doing, all the loving of your neighbors you've been doing, all the fasting you've been doing, all the good accolades you've been doing for as old as you are, count it as dung. Give it away because it's nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. Die to yourself and follow me. And the man couldn't do it because the man had too much on his resume. Mm-hmm. He couldn't start again as a babe, as a new child, and just follow Christ and follow his example. If someone hit him, he wasn't going to turn the other cheek. It was too much things that he could not accept from Jesus. He couldn't eat the blood or drink the blood and eat the flesh. He had to walk away. Okay. He had a place to go. The disciples said, we have no place to go. We got to follow you because we want to go to heaven with you. Mm-hmm. We ain't trying to stay down here below. And that was the decision that he made, to walk away.
I always find it weird, like Peter was with Christ. It was like, Peter was like Christ's dude. And Christ is like, listen, bro, I already know your heart. When they come for me, you gonna deny me. Man. And Peter's like, man, you crazy. I got you. And it wasn't the same thing Christ said, the same thing Peter did. How do you walk with somebody and you see all of that? The Bible says Peter's shadow will heal people. And you walk with that and you see all that, bro. You still on that day, you like, yeah. Nah, man, I don't know him. I'm straight. I ain't never seen
the desire for life is crazy, man.
It is, yes, it's true. When your back is against the wall, man, and somebody like, yo, deny Christ, so you take your life, you're gonna be like, yeah, I don't know him.
Because I was speaking with my mom, and she deals with all these different close to death people, and she's telling me like most of these people, when they know they're close, it's like they can't sit still.
Yeah, very restless.
So it's like
think about it.
So it's the same situation. It's like, when is that time for death?
Mm-hmm. Bro, you think
are you gonna walk with a person who's walking into death, or you gonna find another way to live?
Peter is young though. You're talking about older people that probably on hospice. Or
no, I'm talking.
70,
I don't think
hospice is not just for the old.
It's the young people.
It's for all ages.
Yeah, but I'm just saying when you reach to that level, you're gonna die. So of course you're kind of reckless and you wanna make it. You wanna make it.
No. When death is imminent.
Regardless of the age,
patient get very restless, agitated.
Yeah.
If somebody sit here and tell you
think about
right now, you got 2 weeks to live.
I know, but I'm just.
But Peter was in that predicament.
Yeah,
what you mean?
I remember he was chained with to the prison guards in the.
That's after.
Yeah, that ain't nothing.
That ain't nothing.
Well, you got
Peter
was walking with.
You got people that stand on their head in prison.
Peter was right there with the man.
But when they get on death row, it's different.
But Peter was on death row.
But what I'm trying to say is, you got people that'll be life. They'll do life in prison.
Yeah, but
that'll be the hardest thing. But then when it come down to death row, today's your day. Here go what you want, last meal. It's over with right there. It's over with right there. Yeah, because you know in your head
that you done.
This is everything that you know, and now you got to move on, and you don't know what's on that other side. So when you don't know what's on that other side,
you don't know
what's facing. That's very traumatic, man.
I believe that. I believe that's facts right there.
And I don't care what age you are.
People up to this day, that's living, they're afraid to die.
Yeah. Oh man, if someone right now come up to you and be like, look, man, kiss all this goodbye, and you gonna go meet your God or meet your next life, and if you ain't strong in who you meeting and what you meeting,
yeah, you're gonna be afraid.
Like I seen. Listen, I seen a video of a woman that got in a car accident, and I think she was the daughter of a pastor or something, and she says in the car accident, when she was flipped over and she came to it and she checked herself and everything was okay. in that moment right then and there, she said, I was not right to go on the other side. I was not right. And that spooked her. That really hit her to the very core where she was like, that's all she was thinking. I wasn't right to go if I had died in this instant right here. So coming out of that, she's like, man, I'm dotting every I and crossing every T. Like, I'm just going to go over and above. And like she says, I might not make it, according to what I'm trying to do, but she's like, I ain't going to hold back anymore. Like, I'm going to try, like the little engineer could. I'm going to more than try, because I knew at that very moment, and that's very like serious. If all of us right now, for real, was in a life or death situation, and the question comes down, do you think that you're going to make it? If everyone, it'll hit us like a ton of bricks. And every one of us will have a little bit of doubt. Every one of us will be like,
I'm gonna be honest, to me, it's like, I'm gonna die. If the situation comes down to it, and I really don't, God might have a different path for me, wanting me to live, but if I don't see it, all right, I'll accept it.
Yeah, but what are you talking about?
I'll be telling this cat every week, you in church, bro. You stop telling these lies.
Okay, you think I'm lying?
You're not lying.
What we trying to say here is, if you're not ready, you're gonna hold on.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you're ready, you'll let go.
That's true.
Yeah.
But we're talking about.
But it all depends on what.
Peter was walking with him, man.
He was walking with him.
Peter was more than walking.
He even walking on water.
Peter was on the inner court. Yeah, Peter was more than walking.
I told you, that was Jesus' boy.
Yeah, so like
Peter, James, and John.
Peter, James, the three of them. It was always with Christ.
But at the same time, but it
also depends on what spirit is running you too. Because I remember when I was in the world, somebody pulled a gun at me and he's like, yo, big Jack, I'm gonna say, yo, kill me. It is what it is.
Man, that was
so I was dealing with aggression. And I was I tell that man for 2 years. I was waiting for the right moment, but God bless him.
But God,
you're right.
Well, God was looking out for you.
Huh?
God was looking out for you.
Yo, I remember Apostle, I was so heated one day. And Apostle called me one time, and I was actually on the road driving too. And Apostle was like, listen, Dwayne, I just had a vision with you and gunman or whatever. He's like, whatever you're gonna do, don't do it. And I turned my butt on, went back home. Because God knows, man, when you battling with some spirits out there in the world, man, and like, bro, don't to me, like, I had the mentality, like, bro, it was do or die, man. Like, don't threaten my life and think you're gonna walk around here like everything is all, like you say, Gucci.
Yeah.
Like it's all beautiful, all bed and roses. Nah, we don't work that. Like we don't roll like that.
But at the end of the day,
it could have been. But like I see a lot of people dying like innocent like that, man. Like people be nervous. Like they be like, "Yo, man, I heard Donovan looking for you, bro."
Yeah.
And he be like, "For real? What happened, bro? What you mean? What happened? You threatened the man?" And they see Donovan and they think Donovan see him and like Donovan be like, "Yo, what up?" He be like, "Pop, pop." I'm like, oh. Just like that.
It happens.
Like it's called that nervous shooting. That's that fear shooting.
Nah, but look at what I'm saying now. Now, for instance, Apostle, when he called you that day, he was already in the spirit, in the prophetic. He was already prepared. So he was already like covering you.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say. That's how we have to be. In this what we call warfare.
Mm-hmm.
And this what we call and this what we call, you could see sometimes some people like, you be like, man, you ain't really ready. You talking, but you ain't really ready. So I'm gonna just have to cover you and pray. I'm gonna just have to lift you up. I'm gonna just have to encourage you. I'm gonna have to give you a word of encouragement. Because when you don't do that, and the person might think they ready, and they get into a task or a fight that's too much gonna overwhelm them.
That's true.
It's too late now.
I got a question for you, for y'all. I just want to hear your opinion on it. It's like God speaking to you directly now. It's like, I call you all for a purpose, and I want you guys to step out. It might require you to move away from what you're comfortable with, but I want you to step out. How many of y'all are willing to just drop everything that you have now, career, whatever, and then just step out and do what God's telling you to do right now?
That's a tough question.
Very tough question.
Abraham in the Bible did it, so I'm like,
but you just the answer that you're speaking depends on your preparation.
But here's the thing though, it's like that's God whenever he's speaking. It's like, I understand that it's scary and it's some completely unknown, but God is calling you to a place like, all right, I want you to do certain things. right? So it's like, I'm gonna need you. I want to put you in an uncomfortable situation. Now, you can either handle it like, and then just walk, or you can say, let me do that Jonah thing, and then just go around.
So let me ask you a question. Let's throw that question back on you. How you feel being a PK?
Me?
I mean, now you're probably used to it, but how you felt 7 years ago?
7 years ago, I didn't care, man.
Wow.
Honest answer.
I'm gonna be honest. It's like, it's gonna stop me from being me. No, I still don't really. No, now I look at things a little bit differently. Like certain actions that I take is like, all right. It's like because even though I try to hide away, people still viewing me. So it's like I have to. So I can't just do anything like how I thought I could, because I've matured. But at the same time, I'm not gonna let what you think of me cause me to change who I am.
So what does "I don't care" mean?
What I mean by I don't care, it was just a title.
Okay, but my point being my point being
I never accepted it.
Okay, my point being is, for instance, someone might look at you as a preacher's kid, right? And you say, I don't care that I'm a preacher's kid. So that means you are cool with being a preacher's kid, or you didn't want to be a preacher's kid. What does "I don't care" mean?
What I mean by that is, don't define me by that title.
Okay, so did you want to be a preacher's kid?
I never wanted to.
Okay, so you did care then.
What do you mean by that?
Because you said "I don't care," which means
all right. I guess I'm not getting it clear enough. For me, it wasn't. When I say I don't care, it's like if the situation calls for me. Yes, I am a preacher's kid. Okay,
but did you want to be a preacher's kid?
I never wanted to.
Okay, so you didn't care then.
What? No, innocent. If you want me to do certain things, regardless if I care about it or not, I will do it.
Okay.
That doesn't stop me from doing what is called on me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. I'm a pastor's kid. I don't care for the title, but I am a pastor's kid. It's not going to stop me from being myself. I will continue being myself.
So you would have rather been a preacher's kid than not to be a preacher's kid.
I would rather not have the title at all.
So you would have rather not be a preacher's kid.
I'd rather not have the title at all.
If you weren't a preacher's kid, you wouldn't have the title.
Exactly.
So you would have had a choice if you had a choice not to be a preacher's kid.
Because I'm looking at it from Matthew's point of view. All of us is in the same boat, to be honest with you, because we're connected to Apostle, and we all just got to be careful of what we do.
So we're all preacher's kids then.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the question is,
it makes you handle yourself a certain way.
I'm not gonna.
That's what it is.
I could do like how some preacher's kid, because they don't want it, they run away from it, and they just completely disassociate themselves from the church. I'm not gonna do that. The church has been there when I'm going through my most certain things I don't talk about when I've been going through my situations. It's not similar to what you all went through, but my situation. God brought me through it. So it's like I can't run away from it. So yes, I might not want something, but it doesn't mean that I won't accept it.
I respect what you're saying, but the point when you say I didn't care, like I don't get that. Because my point being is all of us have feelings. And all of us, we didn't decide how we came into this world. But just because we don't have that decision of how we came into this world doesn't mean we have a decision or a choice when we get here. So I don't care means almost like it's whatever. And that's what I disagree with. If you ask somebody a choice, what do you want to eat? And they be like, I don't care. Come on, man. You know you want hamburger, pizza. You know what you want.
True.
Say what's on your mind.
I think when he said he doesn't care, I think he's looking at it like
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter either way.
And my point being, it does. But deep down, if you really get to the core of it, it does matter. Whether you do or you don't.
You roll. It's more like a don't then, right?
I'm a guy. If my dad never been a pastor, all right,
you'd have been fine.
If my dad became a pastor,
you were fine.
Because regardless, how I've always been raised is like, oh, okay, God's calling my parents to do certain things. Regardless of how I feel about it, I had a lot of friends in Jamaica. I was very content there, but God said, all right, I want you to move. I was not happy about that. I was extremely disappointed in that. I did not want to come here. But guess what? God called him for a reason and brought him to this country. Am I going to catch a fit like, oh, I want to go back? No. I'm going with my family. It's the same thing with
but my point being is that you cared.
In what
because
sense?
You didn't want to go. You wanted to stay. So you had a preference.
That's his answer, and he's sticking with it.
I understand what you say. I understand what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying. But I'm just saying.
What you said when you ask somebody if they want something to eat, you know,
everyone has a choice. Everyone has a preference.
What you want to eat, it doesn't matter.
Anything.
They just saying that. They just saying they don't mean it. Here's the thing. I'm telling you, get them a Happy Meal if you want to. Let's see what they say.
Me and my brother, when we're hungry, we're hungry.
I said,
what, man? But I get what you're saying.
Don't go there, man.
Let me put it in my perspective.
Do not go there.
Because it's like, when I say I don't care,
yeah.
As long as you put a plate of food.
What if it's a small plate, bro, man, and you hungry? What if it's a small plate? What if I just give you something small, like sushi?
Hey, you're willing to bless me with something. Thank you. Okay. You going out to that extra mile.
What if I be like, okay, I get you a small plate of sushi, and I got me a big plate of like golden
I can't judge you on that.
Man, I'll be like, man, why you ain't bring me that?
I can't be ready.
You bring me this little bit of.
I can't judge you for that.
I just got a question.
But
Evangelist Rita, why is it that when we ask women what they want to eat, we got to go around a whole mountain? Okay. Like we're the children of Israel.
Please don't give a
we can name out everything that we're passing. No, I don't want that.
Don't give that what's the word answer? It's like that political answer.
Politically correct.
We want you to surprise us. Don't ask us. Just take us.
Is that true?
But still,
I agree with that.
I agree with her, but no, he's saying that if we're driving down the street and he says, "Babe, what do you want to eat?" and Babe goes, I don't know.
Yeah, it don't matter.
It don't matter.
But then you say, I'm gonna stop at Taco Bell. Nah.
Yeah, you know.
6 different restaurants.
Yeah.
No, you don't want burger. You don't want the salad. You don't want that. You don't want that. And then
so you like, it does matter. Like, come on, let's be real.
So it does matter. You know, when
you trying to get him in trouble, guy.
We wanted to make the suggestions. Yeah, we know that. Y'all do want to make the suggestions and everything. That's why God created man first. Because he want to be told what to make.
Yeah, right.
I want a man with 6 abs.
With 6 back abs.
You got to be buff. You got to have shoulders strong.
Man.
Everybody got to be over 6 foot tall. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, if someone tells me, okay, pick out whatever, and I pick it out, don't say anything. Don't complain about it.
Yeah.
Because you just said you ain't care.
That's true, because
when I pick it out, it's done.
My wife said to me the other day, she said, what do you want? I said, I want some Gucci size. Okay, now which one you want? Yeah. That's the tough part.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm honest, like it's kind of tough. But when I figure out which one I want, I send it to you.
So they mess around and get you the bootleg Gucci slides, and you sit here like,
I'll still wear it.
Yeah, but then they get you the most expensive ones. You
you gotta realize there's some levels to the bootleg. It's like you can't be like sometimes it's like it's terrible. Other times it's the same level. Other times it's a little bit better.
That's what the enemy does. I'm trying to bootleg everything that Christ did. So why would I want anything bootleg?
That's what I'm saying.
I want something that's pure. I want something that's for me. I don't want no fake nothing. Yeah, I don't believe in a fake Jesus.
With fake blessings.
Not
as still alive.
And not as you say that, right? This is why I believe that on the outside we see things that are a form and a shadow of the real thing, but not the real thing. And that's why that's why I believe that nothing is just scheduled or the same way every time. You can't look at any situation and be like, I'm gonna handle it like this. Because I handled it like this yesterday, I'm gonna handle it like this today. And I'm gonna handle it like that tomorrow. Everything is subject to switching. Everything is subject to changing. Everything is subject to the Spirit coming in and moving like the wind. You don't know it. You don't know what direction, but you go when you hear the glory cloud going. If you hear the horn and it say time to move on. Because if you don't move on and you get stuck, then something's gonna happen. Something bad gonna happen.
That's true. I agree with that. And man, it's just a thing.
you know, when you're on the outside looking in, you know, you have to be really careful, you know. But, you know, I do read in the Bible where it says you want to, you know, you talk to somebody, you want to correct them, you correct them with love. You know, so I do believe in that 100%. But, yeah, it's been awesome, man. It's been real, man. This hour just go by too fast. I think next year we need to kind of lengthen our time. What do you think, Matthew?
Hour 30, hour 50.
Negative. Mr. Man, final thoughts.
Yeah, my final thought is just gonna be like what I speak like. A lot of times we could sit there and we could say, you know, we feel this way or we feel that way. But my part being about that is, I just don't be knowing. You know, I could be speaking out of emotions. I could be speaking out of feelings. You know, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, the Lord just does some mysterious things, you know. So I just try not to accuse, you know, as much as I can. And if I do, forgive me, Lord, if I do. Because all of us, subconsciously, we sin. So obviously, subconsciously, that means we also praise, worship, and honor God too. If, you know, so it just goes both ways, man. It's just, we have to be very delicate about where we are, what line we're actually on. You know, we're supposed to be judges. We're not supposed to be judges. Everything is supposed to be decent and in order. And as long as, you know, as long as we stay following Christ, stay following Jesus, then we will follow him in decency and in order. So that's just my final thought.
Man, you're kind of contradictory, man. I'm trying to think.
I mean, it could seem that way. It could seem that way, but it's really actually not. Yeah, it could seem that way, but it's not. I mean, it was times that Jesus, like for instance, when he said my Father's house is a house of prayer, and he turned over the tables, like he was really doing that in love, but it didn't seem that way. Because what happens is it corrects people because it's like, y'all know y'all messing up, but it's like, ow, it's hurting.
Or just like the Bible says, open rebuke.
Love is correction, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like to get corrected because it hurts.
That's what Timothy
but it's
said.
love because it's gonna straighten you out at the end of the day. So maybe that man, so maybe that guy right there ain't gonna do that no more in the church. I don't know. Maybe he was out of line. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know.
That's just read it.
Well, my final thought tonight, my favorite quote is, you treat people the way you want to be treated. So you don't treat the janitor any different than you treat the CEO. And as I always say, I don't see titles, I see people. So if that pastor saw a person, if he saw people, he would not have dealt with him that way. But I think he uses status and his power to disrespect and throw the man out of the church. And that's basically my thought. So you treat people how you want to be treated.
Definitely.
Brother Leo.
I think you should treat the guy with a little bit more respect. You know what I mean? Because the guy came to him humble. He was very humble. He wasn't forceful. We've seen people come into church as forceful. You guys have experienced it. So to me, I think he overreacted, you know, and he could have done better. As the head of the church, I've never seen my church that I go to, that I like, KBI, the man in charge step out and act like that. He's always acting with grace and class, and he deal with the situation, you know, differently. He was this kind of vulgar, no brought up, see, act like him not a manners. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then he wanted to do a vote after that. So I think, like, you know, the situation arises again, he needs to do better. My personal opinion.
But I was surprised the congregation stayed. I probably would have walked out.
Hilarious.
I would have got my purse and be like, peace out.
I wouldn't even grab no purse. I would just left. Matthew.
Similar flocks, how it goes? The flocks, they all fly together.
Birds of a feather flock together.
All right. That's my final thought. No, I'm just joking. But just like the title for tonight, Grace. If in order to really adopt that doctrine yourself, it's like you really have to, and I'm working on it myself, so my flesh don't act up in situations. Because if, regardless of this matter, if you were in the word as you're supposed to be as a pastor, I feel like you will be able to handle that situation a little bit better. And it's like, And I strive for that daily, because like I understand this world that we live in, that it's a daily fight to keep your flesh under subjection, and every day we keep on until we die. We're gonna keep on fighting this fight, and I understand there are times when we're going to fail, and there are times when we're gonna fall flat on our faces and really embarrass ourselves and who we strive to be with. But again, grace. At the end of the day, grace is what kept that pastor alive on that stage. Because again, how I looked at it and how I saw it, he put himself above his position. He put himself above what God called him for. But it's like it's grace what kept him, and it's grace what is keeping us right now. So just remember, just keep yourself humble. Base. That's it.
Okay. Yep. And it's I believe in that 100%. It's a song that Tasha Cobb sing that says grace loves me, adores me, watches over me, grace is for me, grace is what I deserve, and nothing that I've earned, but daily grace saved me. So when you think about the grace of God, when you think about the love of God, the Bible says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life." So I do understand, what everyone was saying tonight. Listen, they're not gonna pass judgment. They're not gonna, say like crucify him or nothing like that, because the Bible does says he without sin cast the first stone. But I do believe it's how you handle situation as a leader, how you handle situation as a believer. Somebody, it's just anything in life. It's just how you handle anything, any situation. If you want to be, huffed up and puffed up about it, then that's just what it is. That's just who you are to me. But if you're going to be humble about it, yes, Minister Aman said that, Jesus flipped over the tables, in love. I do understand that. But then some people might look at it and say, yo, Jesus was in his feelings, but we understand, the difference. We understand the meaning behind it. And the Bible does says open rebuke, is also something that we should do. But if somebody is like coming back, you could tell the spirit that's driving someone. Just like if me and anyone here is having a disagreement and I start to get, or any one of us start to get huffed and puffed up, or it's starting to become on a different level, that's a different spirit that's driving us. But if you're driving, if I'm getting into it, Matthew's like, yo, like, I'm good, like, chill, everything is good, I'm all right, I accept it, and I'm still the aggressor, then what's the spirit that's driving me at that moment? What's the spirit that's driving me as a leader, as somebody that says, I preach the word of God, and that's the thing that, a lot of us is a lot of people is preaching nowadays, but they're just not living it, and I see that a lot, and I'm that's one thing I ask the Lord every day to, like, if I'm going to say something, if I'm going to preach it, let me live it. I don't want to be part of the statistics that's going around now. I want to be 100% sold out for Christ. When I fast, I don't fast for money. I don't fast for car. I fast for my soul, because I want my soul to make it to heaven. I pray for everyone around me. I pray for everyone that's attached to me, but I also make sure I try to cover my soul 100%, because you never know what you're going to face when you step out the doors. You never know how the enemy is going to hit you when you step out them doors. So you got to always be ready, and you always got to be prepared. I always say every downtime you have, use it as time to get yourself ready for the attack that's coming. It's not for us to wait till the attack comes, then we want to, jump on it and get all over it and say, God, deal with this. No, but every downtime that we have, we should be, in the word, getting our what's that band that people wear, What Would Jesus Do? No, it's not what would Jesus do, what would you do? Because Jesus lives inside of you. So if Jesus lives inside of you and somebody's humbly coming to you and talking to you, it's not for you to be puffed up and to be enraged, and that I mean, sorry to say it, but what I see, is just what I pretty much believe. And that pastor spirit is just all over that church. And to me, everyone is welcome to come in the ministry. I don't care if they stink. I don't care if they're the lepers. I don't care what it is. They're allowed to come in any church, because that's what the church is there for. It's not for you to say you don't want those people in there. I don't agree with that. Not one bit. But hey, that's just me. I'm looking at it from a point of view where, we should have that love, like Jesus said, that love. Jesus never turned nobody away. You know, he never said, listen, depart from me, get away from me. Even when the lady with issue of blood, he said, who touched me? Because he felt the virtue left his body. So, man, you know, it's a hard road. You know, this is a hard road to travel. It's a mighty long way to go. But trust me, with Jesus, you'll be all right. You know, everything will be, you'll function, you know, but keep believing in him, keep trusting him. And you know, just understand that, you know, we got to just keep love. You know, just like the Bible says, somebody spike you one cheek, what you do? Turn the other cheek. Are you going to do it? That's the thing. You know, but that's what the Bible says.
You never know.
It is tough, but it's something that we have to understand. If you're going to read the word and preach the word, you got to live everything that the word says. You know, so somebody pick and choose. Yeah, you can't pick and choose. You know what you're going to preach about, what you're going to talk about, you can't do that. Yeah, the Bible said preach the word in season and out of season.
Yeah, but what I'm really scared of is what I'm saying is, if as soon as you speak something, you just
you're gonna get challenged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I'm saying. If I say that somebody is supposed to handle themselves in the spirit of love and this and that and you know, man, as soon as I say that, I might handle myself not in that spirit.
But I heard before when you made a statement on this show, say, listen, like, you know, you were talking to one of your brothers and they wanted to attack you, and you were still in love.
Yeah.
Okay, but imagine if you had flipped now and then you had to be the aggressor with the aggressor, then you understand what would have happened at that point.
Yeah,
it would have been on, and it would have been on.
And what I'm saying is,
if somebody, I'm just showing like the concept, like the man was humble, you know, and the pastor was the aggressor, and that's pretty much like how I look at it. You know, like the pastor was just aggressive over the man, like throw this bozer out of here. Yeah. No, you don't treat people like that. You know what I mean? The man was still humble. He's like, listen, can you give me some grace? It was humble. You know, I didn't see no aggressive spirit coming from it. So it's just like if somebody come after us and we're sitting there humble, like, you know, I'm good. I'm just here in love. I'm here in peace. Like, you know, you want to still be the aggressor, then go ahead. You know, but
and I think that's what you say when the legions came and he was like, let me, you came to torture me? When legions came up to him.
But the legions ran to Jesus.
Okay.
And Jesus didn't even flinch. He didn't do nothing. He ran to him and bowed down and said, why do you torture me? Why do you torment me?
So at the same time, they handled their self.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the whole point I'm trying to say is, my point trying to be is, if now I speak as like, I'm not going to be or talk about the aggressor, man, I'm gonna be challenged to be the aggressor as soon as I say that.
And then you gotta
for the rest of your life.
But you gotta conduct yourself in that manner.
It's easy to say,
but just like I just said to Matthew, is he okay being with a PK because we're all pastors' kids, and all of us is not gonna act a certain way because you know what? They're not gonna say, "Oh, Minister Amon." They're gonna say, "No, Pastor Nelson, KBI." You know, that's what they're gonna say.
Yeah.
You know, they're not gonna say, "Oh, Minister Amon did this" or "Minister Hayden did this" or whatever. They're gonna say
that's the scary part.
That is the scary part.
The scary part is we all sit here and we can sit there and say we know the Spirit of God and we know the Spirit, but we'll always act outside of the Spirit of God. We will always
differently.
Yep. Like just like Peter, just like y'all talked about before. Peter knew the Spirit of Jesus. And Jesus looked at him and says, Satan, get thee behind me.
Oh, yeah, when he was,
he rebuked him right after he blessed him. Right after he blessed. So, and this is what I'm trying to say. That's why I'm so particular about what I say and about how I think and about what I put out, because it's coming back to everyone that says that. So I'd rather say nothing.
But you're going to be tested, bro. So if you want to say nothing, then don't say nothing. But you're gonna have to say stuff. You're going to have to minister the word. You're going to have to do something. Because it's going to come back to you regardless.
How much times did Jesus judge? He let people judge themselves. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Let people judge themselves. Let
the Holy Ghost condemn them. Let the Holy Ghost condemn them.
Let Legion, if Legion want to get taken out of the atmosphere, let Legion take himself out. Jesus ain't have to do it.
Awesome. But yeah, it's been awesome. It's been real. Don't forget, we only got 5 days left to enroll in Obamacare. You can call Brother Leo at 786-315-3061. It's only 5. Is that 5 business days?
Yes, 5 days.
Just 5 days? 5 days weekend count?
Yeah, the weekends count.
Okay.
Matter of fact, it ends December
15th.
15th, yeah.
15th.
This Sunday.
Wow. Yeah, so you only have 5 days left, you know, to enroll in Obamacare. If you're interested, you know, you can give Brother Leo a call at 786-315-3061. That's 786-315-3061. And don't forget to hop on over to our YouTube page. This is Just a Conversation. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, show love. Give love in this season. This is an awesome season to give love. It's the season of giving.
I think Talking about a giving, aren't we doing like a potluck?
I don't know nothing about that.
All right.
Yeah. So I don't know what you're talking about. You lost me right there.
The ladies, they're doing
all right. That's the ladies' department. That has nothing to do with us. But
Yeah,
it's been awesome. It's been real. You know. So see y'all next Tuesday. It's been just a conversation where we say hashtag talk about it.